Happy Pride Month! I feel like this movie reminded me of another movie that came out like 2 months ago that she absorbed energy, but this is like a darker version. So, Dark Phoenix is directed by Simon Kinberg and it stars Sophie Turner as Jean Grey. And the plot basically follows the X-Men team. They go on a space mission and things go wrong, and that's when Jean Grey absorbs the dark energy, and that's when things start to go wrong and she can't control it. And basically, the movie takes us through the highs and lows and what happens in between. So, let me start off by saying that this was my first X-Men movie. I'm not really into a lot of superhero sci-fi movies, to be honest. I'm more of a horror. But even just as a first time seeing it, just because I'm not into it, it wasn't that well directed. But before I get into that, let me tell you the high points, because there were high points in this movie. The main character in this movie is amazing. She does such a great job. She can turn her emotions in and out like so quick, especially for this character. She does it so well. Jennifer Lawrence does such a great job. So does James McAvoy. James McAvoy, literally in anything he does, he's amazing, and it was just a great performance. Basically from everybody on the cast, it was amazing. The only one I had a problem with was probably the villain. I feel like the villain for me was very two-dimensional. At some point I thought that James McAvoy was the villain, and I feel like that's not very good, because if you think that somebody good is the villain when that's just no. But besides the acting, I feel like I don't have a lot of good things to say about it. Some of probably the bad points for me, I guess, in the movie would be just that I feel like the pacing was really slow. The action in it was mild. I feel like even for a PG-13 movie, the action was not that great. It wasn't that active. And for her to be a dark power and have all this energy in her, and she does all these things to destroy, it just didn't... She didn't do a lot. They didn't give her a lot to work with. And I also didn't like how for everything, she just used... Like, she just lifted things up and looked at them and basically just said, like, hey, if you don't do this, I'm just gonna throw whatever I have in my hand and just fuck you up, you know? Like, that's it. She just used her mind. She didn't use her Dark Phoenix powers. And it's Dark Phoenix, but she still didn't use her powers. Like, what? It's one of those basic characters of, like, when they hit their low and they're like, no, don't get away from me. I don't want you to touch me. I only hurt you. That was basically it as well. Didn't really connect with it until the very end. The very last, like the third act fight scene, it was amazing. It was so well shot. Super, super wide shots, good. Everything was perfect, but it just came too late. The fighting scene came way too late. There was no action in between. It's until the end where you're like, oh, this action scene is so good, but why did you have to wait till the end for the action scene to be good for you to be like, oh, that part was good, but the rest wasn't? I feel like it sounds so, like, far-fetched, I guess, but it just reminded me a lot of Captain Marvel. She goes down to Earth. She's a different person. She's trying to figure out her past. The villain, or who we think is the villain in Captain Marvel, shapeshifts. The ones here shapeshift. It's just... I feel like it's not the same, but it's similar, and I felt like that was very there for me. I'm going to give Dark Phoenix 2.5 out of 5 stars. If you want to see more videos like this, please like this video and subscribe to my channel, and follow me on any social media, and yeah, bye!